The Kiwi Streamer is an old favorite that has been created by Jack Dennis in the 1960s. This fly is fished by anglers around the globe. Brent will go over the materials to tie the fly.
Well, folks, here we are at the bench. Let's get the materials we need to tie the fly. We're going to start with some hooks here. The good hook here is a 5263 Tiemco. I'll be using some Danville's 120 denier white flat thread. There's some lead-free wire here, heavy alloy. We're going to use that on there. We'll be using some cone heads on here too. These are actually, some brands will call them large or extra large, depends on the brand I found. They're about 5 millimeters for this size 6. Okay, that's a really nice fly. It was one of my first streamers I ever thrown. Okay, and then we're going to be using some pearl core braid for the body, which is really nice material. For the wing, we'll be using this well-marked gray. This is a really nice coloration. 2 strips of this, rabbit strips of that. We'll be using a little bit of this red flash slash dubbing here underneath the tail, and also for the throat. Need some good quality deer here for the collar, and some rainbow crystal flash for over the wing. Let's get to the vise and tie up the Kiwi Streamer. Well, folks, here we are with the Kiwi Streamer. Got the hook in the vise, cone head on the front. We'll get our lead wrapped in behind the body here. This gives it really good undulation, gets you down those good river banks. Throw right tight to the banks where the big fish are hiding. This is one of the first flies I tied, and I still do. I'm getting a bunch more ready. I've fished this fly for as long as I've been fishing. And this is actually one of the first flies I've seen tied in a book that I got at the public library from Tying Western Trout Flies by a guy named Jack Dennis. And there were some good bugs in there. I was really impressed with the way he tied and fished. It was all good. It was all new to me. I was a newcomer at that time for sure. And I had the pleasure of running across Jack a few times since. And I'll tell you, over the years, he's become a friend and a great guy. I mean, he's done a lot for the fly fishing community. Okay, now for the tail, I'm going to use some of this little red flash here, this dubbing underneath the tail. I just added this a little bit of a change. And that's the thing about tying your own. You can flies actually do evolve a little bit over the years, and check them out however you wish. Nothing wrong with that. And what I do for the tail also is I'll just take a little pinch of this rabbit off the strip, and I'll use that for the tail. So it kind of blends with the top wing and ties it all together. Makes it look like it all belongs together there, okay? Now we'll use the pearl braid. I'm tying that in right behind the lead. And that'll kind of level that body out a little more. And we'll come forward. It's a pretty fly too, but when they say kiwi, when it comes out of New Zealand, those fish over there got PhDs. They put a very, very challenging place to fish. So they're working over there. I'm happy with that. Was good for me. Got me sold. Okay, now we got our body tied on there. And a little more of our little throat. And we're going to we don't need too much on here. This bright material. Actually, take about half as much you I might need, and then I'm going to tie it on the bottom. Flip it over. Tie it back. And I usually like to have it about, you can pinch it or cut it however you want, but come right to the point of the hook there. Now you see this cone wanting to sit up. That's pretty natural. Tip it straight, okay? Just kind of bust it loose, get it straight. When you push that lead up in there, sometimes it wants to kind of angle up on you. So it's kind of important, or it is important when we go put our muddler head on it. All right, now for the wing, I do things a little bit different as again. Everybody just puts their rabbit on top like that as a zonker strip, as we do. Okay. The way I like to do it, I'm just going to get, I use two of the smaller strips. These are regular rabbit strips. And I lay them back to back on the hide. So they're actually coming off the side like so. I'll pinch it on the top, get a loose turn, and then this heavy flat thread, I can really give it some good action there. Now I'm coming out to about the end of the tail. But what I'm doing is just cutting the leather because I want the hair to be beyond the length of leather. Now it'll come out to the end of the tail. If you want to go a little longer with it, that's up to you. Bring in a little of my cement here. We're just going to put a wee, when I say small amount, that's all you need right there, not much. So when you're working with hair and glue, it can get bad in a hurry. But see, now it looks really good from the sides. And the top, I'm going to be having some flash on there. And we'll do that right now. And that's going to hide a lot of that rabbit. Coming in with my crystal flash. What you want to do there is make sure you don't have too much because you're going to fold it in half. So I'm going to take a few strands out of here because I want just a little bit. Well, that's actually even more than I want there. So let me take 2 more, 3 more. There we go. And because it's always better when you, as you know, to wrap your materials over themselves makes it a lot more durable, right? We'll get these on top. I can give them a good tug up top. You know they're up there. Tie them right on the very top behind the cone. Right where they belong. And they're going to stay there. So now that'll cover up pretty much all that hide. And I'm worried about the bottom. This is what the fish see. This is what I tie for. I like to look at it from underneath, from their perspective. Now selling that in a fly bin, you might want to do something else. But I think that really that flash covers it up pretty nice. Okay, now we'll just bring in our hair stacker and bring some of this really good deer hair. Now this has got some nice defined tips, nice and short, really nice. And we'll just hold them by the tips here, clean it out. And I always stack a little bit more than I need because I can take away after if I think I have too much when I go on. It's always a little harder. You can add, but... And then we'll tap that down. We'll take it out of our hair stacker. We should have the tips lined up nicely, which we do. Well, we want to hold the tips to about a third way back of the body. I'm going on because I wrap backwards because there's a story for that too, but I hold it on the far side. Bring it to me, just a soft loop, and then we're going to pull it to this side. And there's no hair on the bottom. Now, you'll do muddler heads where you're going to go right around and then kind of cut the bottom off anyway. Now, I got these butts on here, I'm going to bring my thread in underneath that cone and then cut it off with my blade on my scissor. I don't really cut it, I just slice it with like a knife. Now I'll trim these butts off. Like I say, we don't want the butts on the bottom anyway. You want everything to look kind of the way it is. I've got it here, I would say. Now if you want to go right around it, that's fine, that's up to you. This is just the way I do it. And I found over the years, fishing streamers, I leave my streamers always flat on the bottom, or flatter. There's one there out of the way. Let me pluck that one off. That's good. So I'll get some head cement on there. Just let it run inside. That super weld will run right into the hair, right down, or whatever you want. Use your head cement on your thread, however you want to do it. But there it is, the Kiwi Streamer. And I'd like to thank Jack Dennis, our old friend, for this contribution to fly fishing and all.
Thanks for joining us today with our fly guy, Brent Schlenker. Check out his new videos on Brent's YouTube channel and Sport Fishing on the Fly.